welcome to this week's Journalism.co.uk screencast. I'm Rachel Bartlett, and this week I'm going to be running through how to use Storymap.js, a tool from the Night Lab, to build an interactive image using its Gigapixel platform. Storymap.js offers two different visual storytelling tools, one of which is based on a map and lets you zoom in to different areas and take the viewer to different locations, and Gigapixel, which lets you add an image and then focus in and out on points of interest. This can be used in a number of ways, such as to focus in on individuals in a crowd, take a look in detail at a piece of art, such as in this example, or even take viewers around an imaginary map, as was done with this Game of Thrones case study. There are effectively three key stages to building a Gigapixel. Storymap does outline the first two stages on its site, so I'll run you through those quite quickly, but I felt it would still be useful to include them so you can see the entire process in real time. Firstly, you need to do some work on the image you want viewers to engage with, so that you end up with a collection of so-called tiles, which together make up your final image. This is achieved using Zoomify in Photoshop, and you'll need the full version of Photoshop to access that tool. With your image in Photoshop, Storymap advises taking down the image size at this stage, as you'll need it later. But it's also worth noting that if you downloaded your image from Flickr, for example, you could also have seen the dimensions there. You then need to apply Zoomify as shown, which leaves you with a folder of those tiles. Stage 2 involves publicly hosting that folder, which you do using Google Drive. Drag and drop the folder over and make it public as shown. It may take a few moments, but eventually you'll see the change to the sharing details, and you should also now be able to see a web URL under the heading Hosting. You'll need that link later. That's stage 2 done. One more to go. Now it's about building your Gigapixel. So go to the Storymap.js website and click Make a Storymap now. Sign into your Google Drive account through the site. Here you select Gigapixel. Now if you're interested in building a map-based interactive, take a look at our recent how-to guide on Journalism.co.uk. But for now, we're going to create a Gigapixel. This is where you paste in that URL for the publicly hosted image file in Google Drive we had earlier. You'll also need to add in those original image dimensions. The first screen you'll see is the front page of the Gigapixel. Here you can add a headline and a description that can also have links included in it, and you can make that text bold or place it in italics. Each interactive is made up of a number of slides, so this is number 1. On each slide you can also add an additional image, either one that's hosted on Google Drive, or you can just add one from your computer. When you add an image, you can also add any relevant credits and captions. For this slide, I just want a title and description to start with. There are also a number of other ways you can customize each page of your interactive under slide options. This includes adding a coloured background to a particular slide or even a background image. In this case, I'm going to re-add the main image as my background image for the cover slide, and I'll show you how that will look in a moment. You can also apply changes to the interactive as a whole, including font, language, and background colour. This is done under the Options tab in the top left-hand corner. You then need to add your slides to make up your interactive. Simply click on the Add Slide button, place the cursor in the right place for your first zoom, and add any relevant headline, description, links and other images. Storymap suggested to me, for example, that if you're creating a gigapixel of a group of people like this and want to perhaps pick out individuals, you could add a headshot photo, which will show in the right-hand side, and make it clear who you're talking about, in addition, of course, to the zoomed-in image on the left. You then just continue working through your photo, adding a new slide for every new piece of the image you wish to focus on. At any point you can click on Preview and see how the final piece will look, and the journey your viewer will take. You can reorder slides manually in the Edit view by dragging and dropping them around, and you can go back and adjust the marker where necessary. When you're finished, it's just a case of clicking Share and then sharing that link, such as on social media, or embedding the interactive into your website. The embed code itself is responsive, so the width will adapt based on where you enter that code. And that's how you create a gigapixel interactive image in Storymap.